It's time for Lefties Losing It, and let's start with this bit of wisdom from the man who wants to be president. Yes, Tim Walz, the worst ever vice presidential candidate, wants to go one better and be the worst ever presidential candidate. Listen here as he argues that Democrats should have gone harder embracing DEI, wokeness, open borders.
Folks, the left is in full meltdown mode, attacking Tesla drivers, doubling down on DEI disasters, and watching their poll numbers crater. Meanwhile, Trump's border policies are working. Elon Musk is saving astronauts while the media ignores him, and even Michelle Obama is throwing Barack under the bus. Let's break down the left's epic self-destruction.
We let them define the issue on immigration. We let them define the issue on DEI, and we let them define what woke is. We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to stand up and say, you damn right we're proud of these policies. We're going to put them in, and we're going to execute them.
Republicans everywhere should be praying that the Democrats listen to him, because they will never, ever win the White House again if they double down on that idiocy.
Did we hear that right? Tim Walz actually thinks the Democrats' problem is that they weren't woke enough. Are you kidding me? Democrats are getting shellacked because Americans are sick of open borders, race baiting, and men in women's sports. But sure, Tim, go ahead and triple down on the woke policies that got you a 21% approval rating.
Now, we are seeing a lot of Elon Musk-inspired derangement from lefties. Watch these damaged people scream shame at a dude in a Tesla. There's an epidemic of crazy lefty losers who are attacking Teslas and Tesla drivers, and these attacks are becoming increasingly violent. Watch what happened to this 61-year-old woman.
This is video from the victim's Tesla camera. It shows a green car pulling up to a Tesla on busy Route 66, then swerving in front to box the Tesla in. The driver then walks over to the 61-year-old woman in the Tesla and reportedly starts hitting her while she's sitting behind the wheel. At one point, the woman says she bit the man's hand. Moments later, the passenger of the green car appears to walk over and pull the attacker away. They finally get back in their car and drive off. We spoke to the victim today, who said she was terrified and can't understand why anyone would do this.
I'm ashamed of our society and what they're doing.
The victim, along with the other Tesla owner who received a threatening note and text, have both now signed up for a gun safety course at a gun range north of Flagstaff. They tell us they don't feel safe right now.
Unbelievable. Attacking a 61-year-old woman. Hopefully that lefty loony is behind bars and soon.
Unbelievable. The left's hatred for Elon Musk has reached assaulting grandma levels of insanity. These are the same people who scream tolerance until they see a Tesla. Then it's all shame and violence. Where's the media outrage? Oh, right. It's different when their side does it.
Now, during Wednesday's episode of Michelle Obama's new podcast with her brother Craig Robinson, the former First Lady had a bit of a go at her husband Barack for his apparent lack of financial responsibility.
Would you be attracted to a guy who's not financially sound when you meet him?
I married one.
Don't you like that alley-oop I just threw?
Oh, Kinsey, this podcast looks terrible, but tell me, have we learned anything interesting apart from that little tidbit?
I think if we're learning anything, it's that this woman has little to no respect for her husband, who's put her in the position she's in to sell books to thousands of people and sit on a podcast and shoot the you-know-what with her brother. I think that she continues to disrespect him on this podcast, and I wonder what the ultimate objective is. I agree with people like Maureen Callahan that say she's trying to brand herself away from former President Obama. And why? Because you don't want to be married to him forever? I think that that's a legitimate question.
Well, that were rumours circulating very heavily for the last, 3-4 months about whether they are together. He's appeared by himself at several events where you would expect her to be there, including President Jimmy Carter's funeral. So there's no wonder there's a little bit of scuttlebutt about that.
Wow. Michelle just casually trashes the man who made her a multimillionaire and a global icon. Real classy. Maybe she's bitter because her book sales flopped compared to Melania's? Or maybe it's part of her 2028 divorce tour prep.
There has been much controversy among the humorless, joyless left because this alleged comic, Amber Ruffin, has been removed as the headline act for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. A tragedy for comedy. And she's not only painfully unfunny, she's also a lefty losing it. Amber Ruffin revealed just what a nasty lefty she is, saying Republicans are not even human.
I think it's just that burns on Trump hurt badly. And then it trickles down to everyone who's around him, because y'all also guilty. So I think they got their feelings hurt. And they want that false equivalency that the media does. They want that. It feels great. It makes them feel like human beings. But they shouldn't get to feel that way because they're not.
Some people are more culpable than others.
That's right.
And they get more jokes made about them, and the jokes are meaner.
And of course, the miserable, joyless ladies of The View thought that last line was hilarious. Look at the immediate reactions here when they played the clip.
It makes them feel like human beings. But they shouldn't get to feel that way because they're not.
Charming. Think they all need psychological help, but just not from this next lady who claims to be a psychologist. And she has this important question for Americans.
Genuine question for Trump supporters and supporters of Musk and RFK. I'm just asking a genuine, honest question for you. Is there anything at all that they could do to lose your support at this point?
Yes, if Trump, Musk, RFK, any of them appear with a septum ring, I'm going to assume that they have lost their minds and disregard anything they have to say. That's all it's going to take. Now, we will get to Cory Booker's descent into madness shortly, but first, the polling for the Democrats continues to hit new lows. We are now looking at 21% approval ratings for Democrats in Congress. Here is CNN.
Holy Toledo. Voters' views of the Democrats in Congress among all voters disapprove 68%. And look at the approved number, just 21%, even lower than the Democratic Party at large. This is the lowest on record for Democrats, according to Quinnipiac University polling. You think these numbers are bad? Let's go to this side of the screen. We'll look how Democratic voters feel. Get this. The plurality of Democratic voters disapprove of Democrats in Congress at 49%, and just 40% approve. Horrible, horrible, horrible.
21% approval? That's lower than cable news ratings. Even Democrats dislike their own party now. But here's the kicker. They're doubling down. At this point, the GOP's best strategy is to just let them keep digging themselves into a deeper hole.
Joining me now is host of a new program, Spot On with Link Lauren on Megyn Kelly's network. Link, even the majority of Democrats do not approve of the Democrats in Congress.
Great to be back with you, Rita. This is because the Democrats have lost their darn minds. The Democrats are also choosing these ridiculous hills to die on. If you look at the data, 79% of Americans in a recent New York Times Ipsos poll, they tell you they do not want men and women's sports. So what do the Democrats do the next day? They go out and vote to keep men and women's sports. If you look at these polls, an overwhelming majority of Americans, they support mass deportations. They support deporting criminals. What do the Democrats do? They go on TV and say, no, 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 we can't do these mass deportations. This is racist. This is xenophobic. So the Democrats are coming down on the wrong side of every single issue, and it's why people are leaving the Democratic Party in droves.
Well, part of the crisis facing the Democrats is that they are doubling down on that leftist lunacy you mentioned, and part of that is attacking Elon Musk. I mean, these unhinged, demented, hate-filled attacks against Elon Musk, labelling him a Nazi, a threat to democracy. And sadly, it's backed by the media, some of this hysteria. And this is something Joe Rogan touched on recently.
Because right now they lost to Trump. They're in this scattered thing where they're trying to on everything he does, hide all the good stuff. You didn't hear a peep about Elon rescuing those people. That should have been on all of the news stories all day long. It should have been a huge national event. We're finally going to rescue the astronauts who are trapped in the space station for 8 months. And this super genius, this Elon Musk character, is the guy who figured out how to go get them. His company went and rescued them because we can't do it anymore.
He's 100% right there. They were stranded there for months. It was supposed to be a 7-day mission because NASA couldn't get them. So Elon steps in to do that. It's successful. It should have just been a moment that united the country, this moment of triumph. And yet it was barely covered because it helps Elon Musk, it helps Donald Trump. Now it's time for the golden age. Elections have consequences, and yes, it is the beginning of the golden age, all right. The latest figures have just been released, and they show that the Trump administration has resolved the illegal immigration crisis. It's no longer a crisis, with the numbers crossing illegally at the US-Mexico border falling yet again in March, hitting a new record low. Just 7,000 crossed illegally. Remember, we were seeing 200,000 plus a month under the Biden administration. The March data is a 94% reduction from the same time last year, March last year. Department of Homeland Security agents call it the Trump effect. One DHS source told the New York Post, migrants are scared there are consequences now. Everyone who is caught is charged and does time. Remember when the Democrats and their propaganda arm, the bulk of the mainstream media, claimed that it was impossible for Biden to fix the problem he created?
They actually are doing everything they can.
The president's hands are tied. There's only so much that he can do.
President Biden has issued certain executive orders, but there's only so much he can do within his purview.
What an intractable problem this is for the president, with no easy solutions.
No easy solutions here.
There are no easy solutions here, folks.
The president insisting there's only so much he can do without Congress.
Turns out it wasn't an intractable problem, and there was an easy solution. All you needed was a new president. Joining me now is comedian and host of Primetime with Alex Stein on Blaze TV. Alex, we were told it can't be done. European countries have achieved little in the way of stopping their illegal immigration issues, but Trump, within a matter of weeks, had this issue under control.
I mean, Rita, it's such just a laughable proposition to even say that the President of the United States of America, the Commander-in-Chief, is not responsible for protecting our borders. So, you know, it's just ridiculous what these people want to say when it comes to Joe Biden and the comparisons to Donald Trump. It's just a night and day difference when it comes to the direction that this country's heading.
Now, this week we had the Trans Day of Visibility, and you decided to mark the occasion by attending a protest in Texas. You were blasting the song Dude Looks Like a Lady, Dude Looks Like a Lady, and yeah, not surprisingly, it took around 5 seconds before you were attacked.
What is going on? All children can get trained into reassignment surgery! Kill yourself! Transgenderism and its effective! Look at this! You want to fight? You want to fight? Yeah, I'm so scared. What are you gonna do?
Alex, I may be jumping to conclusions here, but I don't think they were happy to see you.
No, Rita, it's a cliche you say a lot. The party of tolerance and acceptance is not very tolerant or accepting when it comes to people that even try to have the same viewpoint. I went there to try to, you know, I guess, be friendly. And obviously I was joking, I was being sarcastic. But as soon as I stood up and I had the boombox playing Aerosmith, they knew what was going on and they immediately got violent. And I really feel bad because I was there with the cameraman and my girlfriend, and they threw coffee on her. You know, they threw water on me. And I'm trying to go there, and this is a very tense situation. I go there and I try to have, I guess, a different angle. I try to be funny, or I try to be, you know, goofy. But in reality, these protests are getting dangerous, and there's more and more of these protests, Rita. So I'm happy that this didn't actually get much worse than it really was.
Well, yeah, he got a bit willing there. There was a bit of argy-bargy, and I'm not sure whether you should be taking your girlfriend to these little projects, Alex. We need to have a talk about that off camera, because I'm never going to have you married off if you pull stunts like this. Taking your girlfriend to a Trans Day of Visibility protest, no.
Yes, the tolerant left. These activists scream acceptance but lose their minds the second someone dares to joke about their ideology, and notice how fast they turned violent. Coffee thrown, threats screamed, all because a conservative showed up with a boombox. Imagine if this was a MAGA crowd attacking a trans activist. CNN would call it an insurrection.
Well, if you want to be a rebel, you have to be conservative. I mean, that is just the way it is now if you're a young person, because the groupthink is so much the other way. We have to check in now on Will Smith, Alex. He went from being arguably the world's biggest film star, winning Academy Awards, among the highest paid stars in the industry, and then this happened.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me. Keep my name out your fucking mouth. Wow, dude.
Well, the weirdo Hollywood crowd gave him a standing ovation shortly after that when he won his little award, but the rest of the world were pretty appalled by his antics, and he had this massive fall from grace. That was 3 years ago now, and he's now launched a comeback, a musical comeback.
Feel like I'm just getting started. They tried to finish me. I'm like the universe, infinite. There's no end in me. This is the bounce back. Watch Will, y'all. This is the bounce back. Here come the bounce back. Keep your eyes on him. This is the bounce back.
Okay, Alex, is that a song? Is that a comeback? Or is it, I don't know, do we intrude on a therapy session?
So I actually like to see the revitalization or the revolution or the pivot of Will Smith's career. I'm excited to see it. You know, will it be a success? Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. His music was actually underrated, I always thought, in the past. I'm not sure about this one, though. Now, before you go, we've seen activist students behind violent protests deported, but the problem runs deeper than the students. Look at what this academic, the chair of the English department at the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire, look at what he allegedly did. Flipped over a table set up by college Republicans at the university. But Alex, despite what we're seeing in that particular footage, we are seeing sanity prevailing at a number of universities that are abandoning their DEI programs. Tell me about this shift. I mean, they're being forced to do it, but seeing the University of California walk back from DEI, well, that's got to be good news.
Well, Rita, I go to a lot of these college campuses, and really these kids could care less about DEI. It's a lot of the faculty. And a matter of fact, when I do these debates, oftentimes the faculties are the ones that come over there, and they don't necessarily, I've never had my table flipped, but I've had them say flippant remarks to me, and I've had them say, get a life. So it seems like the teachers are the ones that are doing all the indoctrinating. So to see these programs go by the wayside, God bless them. That's great. We don't need them. But I think that is a real problem. It's not necessarily the students. It's actually the administrators and the faculty.
It's, of course, that's where it starts.
So let's recap. The left's attacking grandmas in Teslas. Comic geniuses like Amber Ruffin are calling Republicans not human. And Democrats have a whopping 21% approval rating. Meanwhile, Trump fixed the border in weeks. and DEI programs are crashing faster than Biden's cognitive functions. The harder the left loses, the crazier they get. And folks, we're just getting started. Drop a comment. What was the most unhinged lefty meltdown in this video? Smash like, subscribe, and let's keep exposing these clowns.